Hit it.
I made the mistake of talking movies with Beef in the break, and
I thought he was never going to leave.
he got rolling there for a second.
I went down the wormhole.
You did. He's a movie aficionado. Nobody knows more.
Blockbuster Gold Card.
Yes. Nobody knows more cast parties than the Beefer. That's
My
for
goodness.
sure. All right, welcome back. Sports Concepts and Rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill where we knock things back and forth for a few minutes. And at the end of this, Beef, what are we handing out today? We have a lovely prize pack for you just for you hanging with us.
Yeah, stay tuned at the end of the segment. One lucky Google will get a chance to make someone's day, or they can make their own day, with a floral delivery from Kuhn Flowers. And also, they'll get some free airport parking from our friends at usapark.net.
All right, so Lauren Rue, I'll ask you right off the rip here. Ultimately, we've talked. Where do you think Kawhi Leonard's going to end up? If you were a betting woman now in Vegas, where are you putting all your chips?
If my choices are based off your poll,
Yes.
in terms of staying in Toronto, headed to the Clippers, or headed to the Lakers, I like the idea of headed to LA. It seems like the next super team, mini super team, if you will. I don't know how many you have to technically have a super team. I mean, Golden State, I think, had 6 or 7, but I would like to see the Lakers be relevant again, personally. To me, they're one of those franchises, along with the Knicks. I mean, these kids these days, if you will, if I can sound like one of the olds for a moment, don't remember what it was like for the Lakers and the Knicks to be these huge staples in the NBA. They hear about it, but in terms of being the relevance again and how good they used to be, I think they're a huge part of NBA history, obviously. So I think the Lakers would be a good fit.
There should be a. I'm trying to make sense.
And then why would you go to the Clippers light? I mean, the Clippers are like LA light.
Yeah,
anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
I like that. And ultimately, I just want them to make a decision. I'm ready to move on and start.
Feeling sad about being a Knicks fan?
Yes.
It really doesn't affect you, though, does it?
No, I'm ready to embrace it. I thought we were going to get a meeting with Kawhi. I don't think we did.
No.
I'm not sure how to phrase this. Like, I guess the best way to say it is be careful, Kareem Hunt. Be careful. Kareem Hunt is serving an 8-game suspension this year for an incident with a woman that was caught on videotape, a little pushing and shoving.
Yeah.
Anyway, was immediately released by Kansas City because he lied. It just seems like trouble seems to find Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt this weekend was out at a Cleveland bar. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell a man, you can't go out, right? We can't do that. Kareem Hunt did not get arrested for that incident in Kansas City, right?
Right.
He was not charged with anything, as far as I know. And so he's out at a Cleveland bar, but yet if I'm Kareem Hunt, I might say, I probably shouldn't go to these places. I tend to find trouble, or trouble finds me. So there's a video published by TMZ Sports, shows Hunt speaking with multiple police officers. Now, look.
He could have witnessed something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's lost the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
When a story like this pops up, if you see Kareem Hunt being questioned by police, the first thought is, oh, boy, here we go again.
Right.
And it could very well be something completely opposite of that. Just like Beef said, he could be a witness to something. Look, a young guy who has a social life is not going to automatically stop having one.
Correct.
So this idea that because he's had issues in the past, you would hope that he would never find himself in that situation again.
Right.
But the reality is, you go out, you stay out late, you do whatever you do, you could be part of a conversation where you're having to talk to the police again just because of the place that you happen to be at.
The incident took place outside the Barley House in downtown Cleveland. The owner of the bar told Cleveland.com that Hunt got into a minor altercation with a friend. So, you probably shouldn't be fighting your friends. Fight your friends, but don't fight them in public. Yeah.
Right?
Like I said, look, you can do whatever you want to do, but I guess be careful, Kareem Hunt. I don't know. I mean, check yourself. Do you have a temper? There's always explanations to why things happen, but it's also fairly easy, as far as my experiences,
Mm-hmm.
it's fairly easy to go out and not talk
And not
to the
get
police. Right? I mean, isn't it?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I don't want to say never because that would be a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But most times you go out, you don't end up having to chat with the police over an incident. You might say hello to the police officers, but so I just, I don't know, man. It's
not a good look.
Tenuous situation,
It
Kareem
is.
Hunt. Tenuous situation. And look, man, dude, you have a lot at stake here, bro. You do not want to get kicked out of the NFL.
All right, I've got one for you.
All right.
When jerseys are retired, it's usually a really big
Yes.
deal, isn't it?
Yes.
Numbers are retired.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually somebody who has put in most of their time at one particular place, right? I mean, you spent most of your career playing for one team. Or maybe you spend 10 years playing for one team. Maybe something happens when you come back.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the Warriors have decided to make Kevin Durant the sixth ever Golden State Warrior to have his jersey retired, when they said that no one else will ever wear the number 35.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little much for me. Kevin Durant was a great player for the Warriors.
Is it though, Dan? Is it?
What?
He's one of the most misunderstood people.
Yeah.
He's a good teammate.
He is.
He's a good person.
Good guy.
It's not fair. I'm lucky to know him.
By the way, I hate him.
We're lucky. We're all lucky. to
Box
know.
on him and the Brooklyn Nets, but that's besides the point. I tend to agree with you. And when are they going to do it? Look, when he's done playing, you could come back and honor him or whatever. That would be fine. But
Now, in fairness, the
Yeah.
guy never said they were going to retire, like a retirement ceremony. He said no one will ever wear that number.
Well, that's the same thing.
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But it's like, could it be like a informal retirement?
To me, I don't know.
I'd like to see
I'd love a retirement ceremony.
when he passes through this year. He's
And
not
they
going to
just
be
boo him
playing.
relentlessly.
Huh?
They just boo relentlessly.
Yeah. I like the story. I thought the best way to tell the story of Kevin Durant was by the dude from The Athletic. He wrote a real good column. I don't know if you got to read it. Anyway, we read that Curry flew from China to New York just to go say, hey, man, thanks for everything. It was a great run together. The decision had already been made, and he wanted to, just thank him. He wasn't trying. There was no changing of the mind coming up because the deal was already done. And so, but the point that the writer made was that Durant wanted to be like when the Warriors came to visit him in the Hamptons and all those guys came, the Hampton Five or whatever, he was so impressed and he wanted to be part of that brotherhood, and he just never quite – they all liked each other, but he never quite cracked into that group. And in fairness, that group isn't really a group. They've all been together for so long and grew up together that they all go do their own things now. Steph has a family. Draymond, they were saying, just had a kid. Clay's a bachelor and does his thing. And so Durant had his group of guys around him. Kleiman, who's his longtime business partner, his Nike guy, and some other friends. Kevin used to have his mom and brother a lot more visible. You didn't see Mama Durant near as much out in the Bay Area
No,
as
in
you
Oklahoma
did
City.
previously,
Oklahoma
right?
City, yeah.
Yeah, and his brother. So it just was Curry and Durant are at different places in their lives. Curry is a family guy. He's got 3 kids.
So is this guy implying that KD wouldn't have lasted much longer at Golden State, or one of the reasons he wanted out was because he didn't feel like he was part?
It wasn't that he didn't feel like they were all happy.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. The point I think was to KD, who has always grown up with like buddies. It's like, I've done all I want to do. I want to play with my buddies.
Yeah.
And his buddies happen to be Kyrie Irving and Jordan. And the Brooklyn Nets afforded him that opportunity more than anybody else would. And so ultimately he's like, well, we're still in New York. Kyrie wants to go to Brooklyn. Let's go to Brooklyn. And I think that makes the most sense when you're trying to figure out exactly what happened and why he left Golden State. I think there was, I don't think there was. I guarantee you there was some angst over the injury too, and the way that was treated and reported, and et cetera. And one thing we've learned about KD, and Beef, I think you'll back this up, he is a sensitive dude.
Very.
If you got those burner accounts and on Twitter, and he hears everything. He's the ears are up always.
Katie's quick to get in his feelings.
So you're telling me this will be a smooth transition to New York?
Well, it'll be fun to watch too. That could be a train wreck. I mean, you're dealing with Kyrie, who is a different bird too. So, and in New York, where again, it is Brooklyn. It's not the Garden. It's not the Knicks, but there's still a lot of beat writers and such that he's going to have to answer to, much like Boston, though. It's the same as Boston and the Celtics. So, and he didn't do so well there. Kyrie didn't.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be pretty interesting as we go. I want to touch on one more thing, and I want to get into it in the next segment. But there was an article I read yesterday about FSU and attendance, and they're talking about. Listen, FSU is always challenged athletically with their budget, and right now they may have a drop of ticket sales of 20%, but that's on top of the fact that season ticket sales have been going down in Tallahassee since 2014 steadily. So they said they have 40,000 main bowl seats, season tickets.
Right.
They're thinking they may sell 25,000 of those.
Yeah.
That's 15,000 empties. We're that at $330 a season ticket, that quickly adds up to a couple $1,000,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The point I would make is you can sit there. Matt Hayes wrote an article a few weeks ago, and the AD was staunch in his support of Willie Taggart, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You lose to Boise State and Virginia early, and you don't have an attractive home schedule, and the stadium's empty.
Makes it tough.
I don't care how much you like the guy. The hot seat gets hot.
In terms of where the fans come from, do the majority of them live in Tallahassee? Do they travel from outside?
Well, a lot of travel, and it's a tough place to get to, and you're only going to. And listen, the landscape has changed. We've talked about this numerous times. You've got to compete for the sports dollar, and if you're not in this day and age, and if you're not winning, they don't go. Gainesville was always a sellout, and it's not anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think
it's not just FSU.
I would agree.
I want to make that clear. I'm not picking on FSU,
right?
But there seems to be there is a real possibility that place could be empty this year.
Yeah, well, and that's the way it was a lot of last season as well. You start winning, it fixes things. People,
Absolutely.
It's not going to be fixed overnight. I mean, they didn't drop off overnight. It took sometimes 2014.
Right.
I think, as you mentioned, there are a few places, a handful of schools, maybe 10, that consistently draw the big numbers. The season tickets are hard to come by. There's waiting lists. You have to kind of work your way in because those teams continually win and they are hot in the moment. There's so many other options for people to watch on TV, obviously. Don't want to have to make the trek. And frankly, have other things they have to do on the weekends. There's this shift in the people who buy tickets who have kids that are my age.
Right.
The kids are not my age, but people my age who have kids who are playing sports on Saturday. And that becomes kind of conflicts with anything else you want to be able to do.
No question. All right, so I want to continue that conversation when we come back. That's the sports concepts and rationalizations. We call it the 10-minute drill. Let's do caller number 5, Beef, today, and tell folks what caller number 5 at 641-1010 is going to receive.
Right now, caller number 5 is going to get themselves a floral delivery from our friends at Hicken Flowers. They can make someone's day with that.
Or get out of the doghouse.
Get out of the doghouse. Well put. And they'll also get some complimentary airport parking from USAPark.net. Caller 5 right now, 641-1010.